Joining me now is Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, Robbie Mook. Robbie, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thanks, Chuck.
Let me start with getting your react to how Democrats talked about James Comey before Friday. Here it is.
This is a great man. We are very privileged in our country to have him be the director of the FBI.
No one can question the integrity, the competence.
A wonderful and tough career public servant, Jim Comey. Jim was in the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia when I was the mayor of Richmond, and he's somebody with the highest standards of integrity.
Robbie, of course, that final soundbite was from Hillary Clinton's running mate, Tim Kaine, and he said it just 2 weeks ago. Does Secretary Clinton and Senator Kaine still believe those things about Jim Comey?
Well, I think that Director Comey does have a long and distinguished record, and I think that's why people are particularly puzzled about this letter that was sent to the Hill. First and foremost, it was 3 paragraphs. It didn't provide any details whatsoever. He said that there were some emails. He didn't know if they were significant or not. This letter was sent to leaders on the Hill. Unsurprisingly, it was leaked immediately by the Republicans and leaked in a way that mischaracterized the small amount of information that was in the letter. And all we're asking for now is let's just get all the information out there on the table. There's hypotheticals flying all over the place. And I think what's particularly surprising is Yahoo News reported last night that Director Comey may not have even seen any of the information in these emails before putting out the letter. So to send a letter to Congress saying we may have some information, we don't know if it's significant or not, without even looking at what's inside there, 10, 11 days before a presidential election.
Has Secretary Clinton asked Huma Abedin what was on that laptop that she shared with her husband, Anthony Weiner?
She hasn't, because you just offered a hypothetical on the table. Let me offer you some hypotheticals that I've read in the press. I've heard a hypothetical that these emails had nothing to do with Hillary Clinton whatsoever, that she didn't send or receive any of them.
That doesn't matter. It's still the question of what's in the emails. So why wouldn't she ask Huma Abedin, did you have emails on the laptop and what's in them? And why wouldn't she ask her?
Well, Chris, you and I are on the same page here. I want to know what's in these emails, too. And Director Comey has put out a letter. It has 3 paragraphs. It says nothing about Huma Abedin. It says nothing about who these emails were to or from. He just said he has information that may be significant. We don't even know if it is. And you showed some of his testimony to Congress just now, where they asked if there's significant information, would you reopen the case? And he said, yes, we will take a look at it. The problem is, we learned from Yahoo News last night, we don't even think he's taken a look at any of this.
But again,
we don't know if anybody has.
There is at least there's credible reporting out there that this came from the laptop of Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin. Why on earth wouldn't Hillary Clinton say to her closest personal aide, was there any stuff on that on your laptop, and was it?
Chris, again, I appreciate your question because people want answers. There's nothing about Huma Abedin in the letter that was sent out.
I know that, but why wouldn't Clinton ask her?
Well, why wouldn't Clinton ask anybody? They could be emails from anybody in the world.
But there are no reports that it's anybody else except Huma Abedin.
Again, you're putting out some hypotheticals. There are other hypotheticals that have been put out there. For example,
on the front page of every paper in America, including, I suspect, although I haven't read it, Yahoo News.
Well, and again, I appreciate what you're asking because everybody wants to have the answer, and there's a person who can answer this question, and that's Director Comey. He should put out more information, get everything on the table. He release the information itself, at least provide more detail about what he's talking about. But 10 days out from an election, that he's come under intense criticism from former Justice Department officials who've said this is entirely a breach of protocol. There is a standard that 6 weeks from an election, you don't put out insinuations like this. And all that's in that letter is innuendo.
Okay,
we have no details whatsoever.
Robbie, I want to move on, and I want to ask you about Secretary Clinton's reaction. Here's part of what she said on Friday night.
If they're going to be sending this kind of letter that is only going originally to Republican members of the House, that they need to share whatever facts they claim to have with the American people.
Robbie, why would she say something that is so flatly untrue? I have a copy here. It's not very long. It's the letter that Comey sent to Congress. On the front page, it's got the 8 Republican chairmen of the committees. If you just turn it over, next page, you got the 8 top Democrats on the committee. Why would she say that it was just sent to the Republicans when, in fact, it was sent to the Republicans and Democrats?
You know, Chris, this has been really overhyped.
Well, she said it. I didn't.
We were all surprised by this letter. She looked at the front page, and as you just said yourself, on the front page of that memo, it lists those Republican chairs. Were the Democrats CC'd at the end of the letter? Absolutely. She looked at the front page of the letter. She has acknowledged, we all acknowledge, this was sent to everybody. Again, what we're concerned and disturbed by is that Director Comey sent a letter saying, we have some information. I don't know if it's significant. I don't know if it isn't. He didn't say where it came from. He didn't say what it was about. He didn't even say whether these emails were sent or received by Hillary Clinton. And furthermore, another hypothetical that's out there is that these are duplicates that have already been released. We need all the information, and Director
But Robbie,
Comey needs to get it out
I want to make one more
fast.
point about this letter. You say it's hyped. Comey sent the letter about 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Your campaign chairman, John Podesta, put out a statement at 3:45 p.m. in which he made exactly the same charge that this letter had been sent just to the Republicans, not to the Democrats. 3 hours and 15 minutes later, Hillary Clinton makes the same charge. This was a talking point of your campaign, and frankly, it was a dishonest talking point.
You know? Hillary Clinton refused to talk directly about the issue today in public, but it was there if you read between the lines. Fox News correspondent Jennifer Griffin is in Miami tonight. Good evening, Jennifer.
Good evening, Brett. Well, with 9 days to go, the Clinton campaign put out a video response from her campaign manager calling the FBI investigation overblown and calling on voters to push back by going to the polls. Hillary Clinton avoided talking about the FBI director at campaign stops in Florida and tried to look forward.
No matter what is thrown at us, we need to stay focused on our goal. We need to understand that the best way to repudiate a negative, hateful, bigoted vision is by voting.
Clinton stopped at a soul food restaurant in Fort Lauderdale.
Hot sauce in my bag. Swag.
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
The FBI, as you now know, has reopened an investigation into Hillary's emails. She is, people are going to be voting for this woman while she's the subject of an FBI investigation. It's fantastic. The thing they really don't want, the thing they're most scared of, is people who were going to sort of grudgingly vote for Hillary, just not bother to come out. Well, I think the FBI investigation is going to have a significantly powerful effect in that respect. And I don't know whether you've picked up on this, but I've picked up a sort of renewed optimism and confidence that we might just, at the last moment, manage to nail this. And we might have that glittering, golden, diamond-encrusted wall with T's every mile. We may have a Pennsylvania Avenue paved in gold and marble. We may have a President Trump. He's wonderful. Sad to say, we're not entirely out of the woods yet. Hillary is comfortably leading the polls in all of her home constituencies. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Bahrain, Syria, and Alcatraz. But we do have some good news. On Friday, the FBI announced it was reopening the investigation because new evidence has come to light during a probe of a Weiner. Now, it's that time of the decade, and it only happens once every 10 years when Hillary stops scissoring for a second to get fucked by a Weiner. This is the one. Yes, thank you. Somebody in the audience knows what scissoring is. In reality, this should have happened a long time ago. They should never have closed the case without an indictment in the first place, and it shouldn't have taken her lesbian lover's husband sexting 15-year-olds to open it back up again. But I'm so glad it did. What a wonderful thing. Wonderful.
If she had released all the emails from the get-go, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, that's true, but I don't know where these emails came from. What
apparently Anthony Weiner.
Well, oh God, Anthony Weiner. I should not comment on Anthony Weiner. I'm not a big fan.